Because if you try to talk to more people, right? For instance, if I was like, okay, well, I see that the most desperate avatar are, in the dentist example, supermodels and people that have like massive cavities, right? Those are two different types of people, okay? And then so all of a sudden when you start sending out your messaging, you're like, hey, do you have a lot of cavities and are you feeling blah, 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 blah? And then you're like, hey, are you a supermodel that wants to have a what? Like, yes, you can do both. But when you're early on, when you're doing this, it's so much easier to say, okay, which one, if you got both of these, like, which one could pay me the most money, okay? And a lot of us don't want to talk about, oh man, that's like, picking people that have money to be able to pay, they will, one, value your product much more. And their LTV, they'll stay longer. And they also have friends and networks that will also pay more, right? So if you got to pick between the supermodel and the person in a lot of pain, whatever, I'd probably go with the supermodel. They probably got a little bit more money. They're probably a little bit more willing to spend on something long term to continue to keep it going. You also think about that, right? The other person's like, I need to get a cavity out, and then that's done. The supermodel's like, I need to maintain my smile forever, right? So you're thinking about the LTV, you're thinking about how retention and making these thoughts like in the early beginning when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to build something is so important, because you have to go back to the drawing board every time you get it wrong. Every single time. Like it's not that you don't not learn the lesson and you don't understand, like it's not that you don't keep some of that knowledge, but like save yourself the pain. And I'm sure I'll get many of these things wrong, but I've found that these are the things that I've kind of had to come back to. Now, once you have that avatar, that specific person, it's amazing because you can use AI now to literally talk to them, because now you're like, hey AI, this is my avatar. For instance, for me, it would be overworked, overwhelmed founder CEOs that need to clear their creative and tech backlog. If you've ever been a founder or a CEO, you know that there's so many things that you're stretched in, you're being pulled in.